and communion created beliefs which shaped me into a Christian. And they shaped my reality. My reality, there was a heaven and an earth, there was good and evil, and there was poor and rich, and there was giving and receiving. It was the drama of ritual shaped me, but not just the religious rituals. Community rituals, Chesterville, Eastern Ontario, farming community, Fair Day, there were ribbons for the best calves and the best jams, and hard work, success, was honored. Labor Day, we celebrated the workers' rights, and national holidays too. It shaped my understanding of society. On Canada Day, there was a parade on Main Street, Remembrance Day too. And I was taught to value justice and national sovereignty more than the global unity, more than the life of the whole. Rituals are powerful. They're words, they're stories. They inform us. When we exchange them, we teach them. When they're accompanied by specific movements, we embody them. These ideas and thoughts create neural pathways, create beliefs, they create habits, they create identities, and even bigger than that, they create cultures. Rituals are important.
Thank you. Yes, and they do shape us. They do shape us as a group and tell us who we are and aren't, as you said. So, so now, why at this particular time do you think rituals need to be changed? Why now?
This time has been named in many different ways. It's been called a jump time, an axial time. It's been named the time of the great turning. And it's also been called an evolutionary moment. And so with each of the evolutionary rituals I write, I put it into the fact that we're doing this because it's an evolutionary moment. And there was one wonderful story about Miriam Mcgillis at Genesis Farm. And Miriam is a Dominican sister and co-founder of an Earth Literacy Center, Genesis Farm. And so a farm dedicated to the understanding of cosmogenesis, a new story of universe that's ever beginning. And she said that about these times, and quoting Thomas Berry, that we're living in an exodus. The exodus from the Cenozoic era, Earth's 65 million years of fluorescence, and we're shifting into what has been imagined and Hohem intended as an Ecozoic era. So these are times of great change. You might have thought I was going to answer, well, it's a time of pandemic. And so that's an interesting thing to focus on. It's a time that the whole world is sharing in this experience of insecurity and dis-ease. So this is an ecology that's in crisis, it's not about the human. This is the Earth family that's in crisis. Just like global warming isn't about the fact that only the Earth's non-human reality is in crisis. This is a pan crisis in terms of something that the whole Earth family is experiencing. That's why I think it's an important moment.
Yeah, well, so, but you call what you do, what you're creating, evolutionary rituals. Right, so I'm wondering, what makes a meditation, spiritual practice, holiday, all those that you mentioned, traditional social event, what makes them evolutionary?
Well, come to my altar. I spell it two ways, ALTAR, and a place where we ALTER our understandings. So the first thing about an evolutionary ritual, as I understand it, is that it's based in this a 13.8 billion year old creation story, a new story. The other thing is that it's grounded in ecology, in the earth itself, as the greenery reminds us. The other thing, if you'll notice here, is that evolutionary rituals are interspiritual. They honor all the traditions as revelations of paths of becoming, and it's incarnational. Evolutionary rituals are honors that creation, cosmos, creatures, everything is a manifestation of one universal intelligence. So, and of course, it's about the evolutionary story. It accepts, it teaches, it inspires adaptation to the reality of this process, and that we're part of that process. Some of you will know, be familiar with Thomas Berry's saying, talking about the liturgy of the cosmos. You know, how the work of evolution itself is a liturgy. I love that. You know, he talks about the universe as the primary sacred reality, recovering the sacred, becoming sacred by our participation in it, and it's all liturgy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, if I can say one more thing about this, and I think it's the most important thing that I've discovered, Gail, is that the thing about evolutionary rituals that makes it so important, I think, for us at this time, are the intentions of the rituals. It's to teach the powers of the universe. It's to teach the paths of creation, the science of interconnectedness. It draws on all of the classical religions. In other words, it's teaching a very new worldview, one that the intention is to contribute to the evolution of our consciousness and the evolution of religions, the evolution of cultures, and of course, the evolution of our species. So intentions, I think, would be a quicker answer to what makes a ritual evolutionary.
You know, Carol, what you speak is like you're unveiling something that's been in front of my eyes all the time, but I didn't see. This is so crucial and important in our lives, and what you're outlining is the opportunity for us to really be part of this evolutionary process rather than just, you know, do everything the way we always did it and become also extinct.
Gail, I want to really honor what you said, that it's in front of our eyes. I so relate to that. Matt Fox, the many rituals that he introduced us to, the eco-based rituals that Miriam Mcgillis and others have introduced us to, they are evolutionary.
So what about the solstice? What would an evolutionary solstice ritual look or sound like? What
Okay, well, lots of people on the call are longing to celebrate the solstice again in their own unique ways. And this particular solstice ritual, we're going to use the same spiral. And this time, it would be as though I might light 5 candles that represent the powers of the universe: radiance, allurement, centration, emergence, and the universal intelligence or consciousness. And these are always moving through the universe. They're the ways the universe creates planets and galaxies, and they're moving in and around us as much as in and through us. So here's a way that we might do that. You might remember them on the fingers of your hand, but you might also know that they're in us. And so if you choose, you might reach out your hand to someone that you see on the call. As I move through these different candles and powers, you might move it around and reach out and send your blessing and your power to someone else. When December's growing gloom dims our joy, when we huddle against the long cold nights, we remember. It was out of dark and fecund emptiness universe first flared forth. We are light's creations. Fire becomes stars, planets, mineral, plant, animal, human. Like this flame, we hold the transforming power of radiance. As solstice nears, sun plays hide and seek, but mostly hides. In its long shadows lurk heart's desires, health, love, peace, good work, safe children. Also lurking is Gaia's grief for land lost to drought, raped for oil, fired and fracked. Allurements all. They pull us like gravity draws Earth into its place in the cosmic family. Like flame compels our gaze, so our passions attract our future. Sun's winter retreat teaches letting go is the way life advances. It's time to empty calendars and sink into sleep's renewing arms. It's time to return to dark depths of ocean, soil, womb, and fire, from which emerge cell and seed, fetus, and Homo sapiens sapiens. It is time to follow the evolutionary flame that at solstice dies to rise again. This is the emergence candle.
Mm.
I light the centration candle. When wintry winds scatter autumn leaves and stirs chaos around and within, when spinning in humanity's disregard for our planetary soul, remember, the swirling stellar dust, once captive to cosmic gales, became, by the power of centration, our pearl blue home. Remember, like this flame, we are centrations of fiery potential. I light a candle for the universal intelligence. At solstice, when the longest night has come and gone, prodigal son turns back. All the earth community heaves a grateful sigh at the mystery. This darkness does not eliminate, but illuminates some brighter universal intelligence that is the weft and warp of time and space, ever weaving life's becoming. May the light of this flame be an outward sign of that wisdom working in us.
Thank you. I think if you haven't done that yet, try putting your hand up with someone else like mine. Go meet my hand or somebody else's hand that you see. This really feels almost like you're right in the same room together. It's really
I'm
beautiful.
going to go to Louise Mangan-Harding over here.
Ah, there we go. Good. Yeah, that's nice to call
Out in the West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nice. It's nice to touch, kind of.
And I'm going to go to Karen Nilsson-Hilson, who is maybe on another screen, but here in Aurelia.
It's Patty McGrath. I see Patty and Janet. I see you, Janet. Oh, it's a beautiful experience. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm wondering, with all that, Carol, what are your ideas about rituals for Christmas? Christmas has been overdone so many years. What do you propose? What do you think of?
Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Crisis. Opportunity. I think this is an opportunity to put the Christmas story into that larger story. I think it's an opportunity to put this COVID Christmas into the story of the universe. And one of the ways that the universe has unfolded, as you know, is cataclysm. The breakdown or the destruction of what has been. It's a creative power, actually, that makes room for the emergence of what's next. Brian Swim taught us that waiting at the edge of every cataclysm, emergence waits to create something new. Love that. So we see it in the story of the stars, you know, the supernova from which the Earth congealed and so on, was a story of birth. The star was born, the star died, it exploded and seeded the universe with new elements of stars and planets and so on. So birth, death, resurrection, this is a universal pattern. Cataclysm, emergence, transformation, this is a universal pattern. Opportunity. So to take Christmas this year into this larger reality, to look at this disease as in a much larger framework. And I know many of you have already been thinking about all the other pandemics in human history. And I was very moved by a wall in a 12th century church in France. It was covered with votive art, and that votive art recorded the prayers, the intentions, the devotions coming out of so many global pandemics. I don't need to name them all. My own time as a child, I was unaware of polio. I wasn't unaware of it. There was children in my class that had experienced it, but I didn't see it in that big picture because I was a child, I suppose. And then I can remember going to India in 1990 and being amazed at seeing great posters warning against polio. So these pandemics are global and a part of not just human history, but the Earth's history. So I was thinking about twisting this a little bit. Imagine a council of all beings now. And you know, where all the bacteria, where all the creatures come together, where all the non-human beings are there. And you ask them, so what is this plague that you're experiencing right now? What might they answer? Yeah. They might talk about the plague of industrialization or the plague of disconnection. Opportunity to come to a new consciousness of that we're not separate from biology, or we're not separate from ecology, to accept the gift that we are so much more than individuals, to accept the gift of a thinking that's not human-centric. So, and that gift invites the potential in us to come out as gift, you know, to cooperate with the future of a new sustainable Earth community that's trying to emerge, I think, in this time. That's what some of the places I've gone, Gail.
Yeah, and you have some stories here about how you're going to adapt to Christmas. Yeah, is that this time now, or am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Now is that good?
If you put up a picture of the Christmas garland, this I'll tell you this what I'll call the story of Connor's Cosmic Christmas.
Okay, got this. A garland. It's not this one here. Is it this one?
No, it's not that one. It's the one of hanging a garland around a lamp.
Okay, I know that one. Lucky me, I got to look at all of these guys. So here we are.
And while you're working with that, I'll just tell you that in that story, you can see in that picture, you can see a cedar garland. And if you were able to focus closer, you'd see there are red flames, and there's butterflies, and there's a dinosaur up there. And the idea of putting the universe story on a garland, I think belongs to somebody on the call, Miriam Maresca. And we did this together in a retreat called A Cosmic Christmas. So with that garland in your mind, let me tell you a story about how I took the opportunity to take a second story into a Christmas Eve service. It was a Hallmark Christmas Eve card night. And entering the church, Connor's dad's, his eyebrows couldn't reach much higher as he noted, gosh, a circle of pews. And aren't those grandma's old blue curtains above the stable? Connor was the only child there. He wriggled back into his bench and he fired up his Leapfrog laptop. I began. The levels of carbon dioxide are still rising. A healthy environment is still not part of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So, to serve the grandchildren of all the Earth family, surely Christmas must be a little different. Tonight, I welcome you to A Cosmic Christmas. When Sheila had read the story of Jesus' birth, the reason we all gathered, I said, tonight we have a second story, but I need help. And I held one end of the wicker garland in Connor's direction. He jumped down and held it in both hands. Desmond, spry at 80, jumped up to take the other end, and he moved to the far side of the circle. Connor's eyes grew because he could see that the garland was hung with toys and decorations. So I began my hand over a cluster of red flames. Once upon a time before time, fire flared forth and the universe was born. Next, my hand stopped over a cluster of tinfoil stars. As time and space stretched out, universe brought forth its firstborn stars. In more time, these stars gathered into galaxies. From swirling, twirling particles of stardust, the universe created molecules. And my hand moved to a cluster of Lego pieces. With these cosmic building blocks, universe would create wonder after wonder. Well, Connor's eyes were trained on my hand as I moved past the center of the garland and rested above a red cookie cutter star hung with colored Christmas balls. Now, around one bright and generous star called our sun were many planets, and one was covered with water. It was different. Connor yelled out, "Earth," happy to be able to chime in. He pointed to the little blue ball. And I went on. One day, almost 4 billion years ago, I think it was a Friday, lightning struck deep into Earth's dark waters, setting off a charge of electricity and giving birth to the very first cell of life. In time, the cells gave birth to sea animals and plants. So my little helper named the ornaments snail, fish, tree, bird, dinosaur, horse, monkey. I was less than a foot away from him. And I went on. When the environment changed one day, chimpanzees moved to warmer places. They stood up to hunt on 2 legs. They thought bigger thoughts. They became new beings. With droughts and floods, with ice, planetoids, the earth changed and the earthlings evolved. It went on until one day, some 5 million years ago, they say, give or take a day or two, there were human beings. Connor recognized what I was talking about in the cutout paper dolls. And there have been some great human beings, Moses and Muhammad, the Buddha. And tonight we're celebrating the birthday of, and Connor jumped in again, Jesus. And he pointed to a little miniature manger. Right, I said, and agreed. I was so happy he was participating. And Jesus' teachings are so wonderful. Love your enemy and your neighbor as much as you love yourself. They've helped make the world a better place. And following his ways, St. Nicholas surprised children with gifts on his birthday. Well, Connor was smiling ear to ear by this time, and the boy was touching the velvety miniature of the man in red that hung just inches away from his fingertips. Today, scientists can see all the way to the beginning of the universe. You see, and with that, Connor recognized what the tiny miniature telescope was for. And what do you think they see today? Desmond had the answer. Everything in the universe is born into one holy family. I'd come to the end of the garland. I bent down, I looked at the boy, and I said, and what part of the Earth family am I looking at right now? His eyes were bright with the fire of all time and space, and Connor whispered back, me. And with that wonder-filled me, Connor preached the cosmic message of incarnate and interconnecting love. I tell this story because in the darkness, that's the 6th mass extinction. Surely that implicate creativity, that ever birthing more universe, cannot be left in the manger. It's absolutely got to be freed into the childlike hands of our still emerging species. We've got to know ourselves these days as earth stuff, as light, as star stuff, as earthlings first. Christians, Canadians, however we know ourselves, second.
Yeah. Another one you shared with Penny and me the other day. There's such much energy on that beautiful story. But the story tree, can you tell us about the story tree?
If you show us a picture of it, I will
do that. I want to make sure people that this is a new way of
that.
sharing. I want to make sure everybody sees these. Okay. Okay, here it is, the story tree.
So essential to the story of Connor was the discovery that we can make this story tangible, visible. It's an attempt to make what we call deep time, big history, the inconceivable conceivable. And so I took the garland and I wrapped it around. Does anybody recognize what it's wrapped around? I know you're all muted. Somebody can unmute. Any
Tomato
gardeners?
cage. Looks like tomato cages.
That's what I was
You
going to
got
say
it,
too.
Mel. You got it. So it's the tomato cage upside down. And so here is, in fact, the birth story of the cosmos. And for Christians, the birth story, and it's all its manifestations into the Saint Nick and Santa Claus, so on. So this is what I call the story tree. Here's another variation of the story tree. And I think you're going to do this year, Gail. On the Christmas tree, much larger than this one, I started at the top with light, not necessarily with the angels, but with light. And then I moved down with a ring of stars. Further down, I used silver and gold balls to represent planets and stars and moons. And further down, I put my earth ball right here. You can see that. Below that, I put a ring of flowers and plants, and below that, a ring of animals that you can get in all those wonderful plastic animals from our grandchildren that love to play with. They're learning their animals. And down then, you'll notice where it is. Our Christian story comes in the universe story, where our Buddhist story comes from, all the classical religions, they come quite close to what is the end of our universe story as we know it. And so for the story tree, I put different symbols of the different classical religions there, along with images of the Christian story. So that's a story tree. But now I'd like to show you, and maybe Bob or Carol Watson, who are online, could say a few words about what I'm wearing. Story beads. And this was made on a Zoom ritual with reverence and care by Carol Watson and with Bob's help at the Rua community in Toronto. And so there's a bead on here for these different markers of the universe story. And I made mine into a necklace. Okay.
I'd be happy to
Wonderful.
say,
What?
I'd be happy to say a couple of words if you'd
Thank
like.
you, Bob.
Love to hear from you. Yeah.
And Carol, please chime in. The beads that Carol is referring to are, well, let me back up a second. Rua has for many years recognized that the cosmic walk, the ritual developed years ago by Miriam Mcgillis from Genesis Farm, is core to our beliefs and our work that we do as a community. And so every fall, we take the summer off, as my family used to do from the Methodist Church, in our regular gatherings, but in the interest of sustainability. So when we regather in September to begin another 9 or 10 months of our gatherings and our work as a community, we a core part of that is to conduct the ritual of the cosmic walk, to bring us back together and to remind us of the story. And those of you who are familiar with the cosmic walk will know that it entails a room-filling spiral with a rope of 140 feet long, representing 10 feet per billion years. And Miriam had identified, it's on the order of 30 events that are key to the unfolding of the universe and our story. And it remains hugely impactful and meaningful to us as a group. And of course, this year we could not be in that room together. And so we began exploring, Carol actually was the one who was inspired, Carol Watson, I mean, to work at creating a necklace of a collection of symbols and tokens that represent each of these steps. So she spent the summer brainstorming and gathering symbols to represent each of these 30 steps. And we added a couple this year, new events. And then we put them together. And we did a work party in her backyard, and we assembled kits and sent them to each of the people in the Rua community who were going to be taking part.
Of course.
And so we did, man. It was pretty amazing. And so we managed to do the cosmic walk over Zoom. And as most people took the opportunity to string the beads on the wire that we provided, to create this what Carol Kilby has constructed or has put together as a necklace, which I think is great. It looks wonderful on you, Carol.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks,
fun
Bob,
because it's a way of representing all of the story of the universe.
Thank
And so you could imagine, if you were willing to go to that work, sending out these packages to your family, or doing, sending this to different homes, and doing that when we can't get together, and making sure that you get the coming of the religions and the Jesus story, or the Hanukkah story, whatever, in the right place there at the end. So.
So Carol, do you have energy for a Christmas ritual? Another one? Is there more?
I think I'm eager to hear from, to get my breath, to hear from Penny and the community. Okay. And but I will say this, as if you can't tell, the evolutionary story has made it has made a difference in the way I can deal with these larger crises. I feel like I put things into the evolutionary story. Barbara Marx Hubbard talked about seeing with evolutionary eyes. And it might make me a bit philosophical and less pastoral than some people would have me be, but it really is, I really do find great comfort, great hope in these huge cosmic patterns and know ourselves as part of it.
Thank you. That's a kind of deep. No, we're gonna, when you come back again, because we're gonna spend more time with you in January, and with other rituals and more thoughts on deep time, and then. But thank you for that, to introduce us into the concept of deep time, and just to synthesize all. Many of us, I'm sure most everybody on this call has studied some, like the elephant has studied one of the toenails of all this business of the ritual and the cosmos and the universe story and social justice and eco justice and all that we do. But here we have it put together in a ritual that we all can share, become closer to those mysteries within all of it, which is the sense of community, the sense of communal love, the sense of being one and also many at the same time. And thank you for doing this work. It is beautiful work, and I know it's going to enrich a lot of lives. So thank you very much. So, Penny, we're ready for the, Penny, do you want to take us into some conversation?
Sure. So last year I was doing a service in a little country church about an hour from Madison, Wisconsin. And I had watched Carol's presentation on deep time. And at that point, I was so smitten by the garland that unfolds the story that I incorporated it on my December 23rd service. And I had a couple artist friends come over and help me create the garland. And then those same women were there on that Sunday and helped unfold the garland and wrap it around my tomato cage. And somebody who had been consistently kind of skeptical about my work there came up to me afterward and was just glowing and said, that was delightful. So I have been transformed by this work, and I'm wondering what is popping within you that you can see adapting to your own families or own beliefs that is sparking joy, really. I mean, in this time of so many things not quite firing the way we'd like them to, this is an option to open thinking. So again, sort of the same idea. Just raise your hand if you either want to comment or ask a question or share what's happened in the hearing of Carol's ritual use.
Remember, you might be on mute, so check your mute.
Best to put your hand up, and then we'll know. We have I have two galleries.
Yeah, but it makes it harder.
So, anyone catch a spark here? Might, yeah, Mel.
Well, I just wanted to say my spark came just in seeing the offer of this time with Carol, because I think Carol is doing work that's really, really important. I think it's taking creation spirituality the next step in terms of framing it in a way that's more universal. And I think because we're pretty Christian rooted, and this honors that, but takes it another step. And I think that she does a wonderful job of doing that. So I was very anxious to hear what she had to say today, and it was wonderful to experience some of the ritual. Thank you.
Great.
Nice to hear from my teacher. Thank you.
Bye, honey.
Sylvia,
I'm unmuted?
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes, in my community, there's a UCC church, and every year the children put on this Christmas tree, Christian symbols, every year, year after year. And this takes Christmas and the symbolism to a much, much deeper level, to use cosmic symbols like that. And I was so excited to hear about that.
That's great. Be aware we are recording this. And so if there are people that you want to share this with, there should be a way for you to access it on the Creation Spirituality Community website. So yeah, thanks, Sylvia. Others who have thought about their own way of approaching the holidays and see a new way to add some part of this. Marianne.
Oh.
And you're muted, Marianne.
I just want to respond to Sylvia's idea of decorating the tree with the symbols. So it's an option rather than necessarily putting cosmic events in a chronological order, just celebrating them all. And, we like to do themed trees of gold or silver or animals or whatever, but, to use the theme of the cosmic story as the way we decorate our tree, just how beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
I will say one thing I'm going to be doing this year, and I just have to get my biggest nerve up to do it, is I bought some dark ornaments, and I'm going to be, and it's fairly easy to do, painting galaxies or just some of the Hubble coloring and imagery onto them. And then I'll be adding that to my tree as well as giving those away. And you can go online and find very simple ways to do that. So other thoughts? And I have to dance over. Yeah, Mel, and you're muted.
Yeah, I have one more. I decided this year that and instead of buying a Christmas card, I was going to create my own message. And it's in keeping with what Carol's doing. And this is what I wrote. May the light of love sparking the birth of the universe and embodied in Jesus. May the cosmic evolutionary consciousness awakening to itself and the grace and love in each soul enable us in the year ahead to move from me to we, a little division to collaboration, individualism to interdependence, that we may live more compassionately as a people and express more fully the Christ love wanting to be liberated in us.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I put me on your list. Send me one.
Okay.
Well, I can share one thing that when Carol was unfolding her spiral, that something we did at First United Methodist, which had 3 staff people enthusiastic about creation spirituality, and there were 3 staff people. So we made instead of the usual flat Advent wreath, we made a spiral out of green garlands that, and all the way around, and we tilted it up so the congregation could see it there, and then put the 4 candles on it. So that was a nice shaping. We probably did that as Carol was beginning to write her book, but of course now after today, there's so many more things that could be done. Just it's a way to kind of keep traditional and then move forward. Work for us.
At Rua, we've had a history of probably the past 10 or 15 years or so, offering a Christmas Eve gathering called Birthing the Divine.
Mm,
And that gathering has included both the story of the birth of Jesus from Luke, and has used poetry from Rumi, reading from Brian Swim. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's been a lovely kind of a combining of, and it took quite a long time to sort of bring it together in a way that really fit for us and for our larger community. And we've often had family and friends join us. We do circle dancing in the middle of the gathering, something called the Midwives Dance. And everybody joins arms and basically collectively give birth to the divine. So we've and then sung. We sing together during that gathering, say prayers, light candles. So that's been part of our Ruhr community for a number of years. This year with Zoom, I think we're going to try something. We'll see how it all shifts, because it's always been a gathering in person, of course. And so the Zoom is the new medium. We'll see if we can rise to the challenge again.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. Carol, is that something where you could share your line, how you unfold that evening? Is that available? If I got your email, or if you could in the chat box?
Who's talking? I can't see.
Penny.
Penny. Penny, yes, let's connect on email. I need to just sort of check in with a few people about it this year, and then how about you and I connect on email? Yes.
Okay, should I put it in the chat, my email, or you want to put yours in there?
I'll connect the two of you.
Great.
Okay.
Louise is trying to get in, I think. Am I right?
Well, I haven't been trying very hard, but I would love to be connected on that email link that you're just discussing, Carol and Penny, because that is a beautiful, beautiful compilation and sequence that you're describing, and I would love to be able to work with that in my own heart. The sense of evolutionary unfolding here is quite beautiful to me, because I have been grappling surprisingly to myself with cancer this year, and there is a whole new understanding of cancer unfolding as from an evolutionary and ecological perspective. And one of the wonderful things that I've just been reading, I mean, none of this is wonderful in some sense, but it is exciting to see, such a kind of a closed, dark paradigm start to open up with new understandings. And the idea that unicellular beings have different kinds of norms and rules and growth at any cost and limitlessness and all of the things that we recognize as being characteristics of cancer cells. And in that sense, they are unable to sustain the collaboration and mutuality and reciprocity that our multi-celled organisms are able to do. And so that kind of rebellion, that regression, even within us as we live in the world in ways that are much more like unicellular organisms and have forgotten how to collaborate and cooperate and take dominance for granted and inequity and inequality for granted and all of those things. It's been a real eye-opener for me that, of course, I'm living in a really incarnated way and learning how, I always just worked. And I didn't take the kind of care of my personal body that I needed to. And so I am being forced to right now. I was late today because I had to spend hours on personal treatment, but it's teaching me love my body and incarnation in ways that I could externalize. I could love what was outside me, and didn't occur to me to pay attention to loving every cell of my body, even the ones that are in a regressive state. So it has been this, just the birthing of the divine in every moment and in every cell and in every movement is a beautiful way to come into this season for me. And I'm very thankful to all of you for allowing me to be with you. It's wonderful. It's been a delight.
Thank you so much. There were so many lessons in what you just said. Thank you. Okay, anything before we wrap this segment up and go back to Carol and then begin our closing? Anything that has to be said before we move along?
Well, there on chat, there are a few questions just about the book. When is it coming out? Or what's the news on that? When can we look for it? Carol.
I've been looking for it for 20 years or 13.8 billion years. And anyway, I think the best case scenario with the US mail is that the digital copy will be available near the middle of or the end of December, and the hard copy, the paperback, will be in January. And the new website and new Facebook page and things like that, I'll be celebrating that.
Great. That's
But
beautiful.
thank you so much for your interest. In terms of something to say to, I don't know everybody who's here or where they're coming from. Everybody's come because somehow the rituals are important to them, or not, and that this is an interesting conversation. Ritual may or may not be something that one embraces. May have walked away from rituals and from the tradition that it represented. I think that's a really important thing to note in these times. But this is what I wanted to say. Rituals can do two things. They can preserve and protect a worldview and a tradition and a culture, or they can be activism. And at the beginning, almost all the rituals probably of every classical religion that we know of were meant to change, were meant as agents of change. And so this call to change our rituals right now, to evolve our rituals, whether they are cultural, why couldn't you go to your city hall and ask for an Earth Day flag in the middle of your Christmas tree lighting? Why couldn't you go to your condo building management and ask for an earth ball in the middle of the display of Christmas balls hanging in the narthex? So I'm saying, individually, culturally, socially, rituals are happening all around us, and we can change them. It can be activism. But Shirley, and the other thing about ritual being for one person or being for a community. So we're imagining that Christmas will be just in this household and a smaller version this year than others. We're imagining having this as part of our Zoom connection with family and friends. And, but for me, for myself, what I do to honor the beliefs that are supporting me and the world I want to be part of. An altar of, that alters the reality is important. We did a table setting. We turned that into a ritual of a Christmas meal at our cosmic Christmas. And whenever Penny and Gail, I think we're at that place where I should do that. Yes, okay.
Accessible PDF.
So if you would put up those pictures, Gail, of us setting the Christmas table. There should be
Do you want to
two.
just look at? No, I don't think so. I think it just said. You want to pull it up on my computer and.
Well, I'd have to go through the whole signing in process
Oh.
over here, which I can move
Okay.
my computer in, I guess. Well, it's here inside.
Yeah. Okay.
You mind doing that?
Yeah.
So that's the finished one, the finished table, and we can focus on that. Focus on the laying of that white tablecloth. In the vast darkness of the cosmos, we gather to lay a table of celebration. We lay this cloth. In the center of this table, we place this symbol of the earth, our planetary home, home to our earth family. These candles, they represent sun's light and wisdom to show us the way to love the earth as we love ourselves. We place many candles to represent the wisdom of science, of the indigenous, of all the classical religions. All wisdoms are needed to guide our celebration of the feast that is life together on this earth. On this table, we placed our bowls of steaming dressing and gravy and turkey and cranberry and squash. And we acknowledge this is Earth's body harvested for us. On this table, we place the pitcher and pour into these glasses the water and the wine. Earth's lifeblood poured out for us. From the Big Bang to Earth, to life, to animal, to human, synergy stance makes universe greater than the sum of its parts. We celebrate the birth of which we're all part. The table of holy synergy has been laid and awaits our celebration. The earth is waiting, the sustenance is abundant. Come when you're ready and become what you're born to be.
Yeah, thank you. So to send us out, we're going to listen to a piece of music from Peter Mayer called "Everything Is Holy." And the best way the music comes through is this: everybody puts their Zoom on mute, and then the sound, you'll be able to enjoy it, I believe.
Thank you all for a wonderful afternoon. And Carol, especially for your great wisdom and creativity.
What a privilege to be with you all. Thank you.
Come on. It disappeared again.
Peter's worth
Let me-
waiting for.
Let's see if this is coming through to you. Is it?
No.
No? Is it coming through now? No.
Oh, something's coming.
Yeah?
No music, just noise.
Oh,
The share screen icon, there's a little tick box for share computer sound. I think if you check that, it'll help.
okay. Let me get back to this. Okay. It says screen. I went to the screen like it used to be. Okay. And then it gave me that strange black thing. Microsoft Share, Dropbox, iCloud Drive. I just have screen, photos, iCloud Drive.
Check in the very bottom left corner of that dialog box. Should say.
This is the emergence of the new human happening in and through us. Barbara Marx Hubbard said, we have to become the new human, we have to learn to use the new technology, the new powers available to us. And it's hard.
Oh, I am sorry that I tried everything that I have here. Box, what's a box? I tried that. No. I'm sorry. Such a
Well,
wonderful.
Yeah, go online. It's available online easily, and you can listen to it. And then the other thing I wanted to share, if you want to move this on or go deeper, Carol has these videos online now. And so the ones she developed for Deep Time Network. So if you want to know more of the detail of what she was doing and how she did it, that's another option for search, Google search.
Mhm. If you put it in on YouTube, you can get Carol, and you can also get Peter Mayer doing Everything is Holy Now. And we feel very, very unfinished because I feel that song belongs right now to celebrate. So please take the time to go hear the song yourself. And I apologize that I thought I had caught up with all Zoom's new inventions, but not.
Yes.
Thank you, Gail. And Gail, we honor the anxiety, the stress, and the commitment that you put into that search. Success isn't necessarily the measure of anything.
But at least I know I'm a human on my way trying to stay up with the evolution.
That's right. Well, blessings all on the month ahead, and we'll see you January 7th. For the New Year's ritual with Carol, and then a little bit of an update on what's coming with that larger virtual gathering where Brian Swim and Matt Fox, Joanna Macy, they'll all be together on a weekend coming up in January. So much ahead, and always present moment, only moment, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say. So blessings all. How wonderful to be together.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy the adventure.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful, Carol. Thank you.
Carol, yeah. Carol, don't go away yet, if you're willing, please.
So nice to see here's my friend Mary Jane from grade school.
Hi, Carol. Hi.
Hi, sweetheart.
Great presentation. Enjoyed meeting all your friends.
Mary Jane and I went to Sunday school together.
Oh, boy.
And so this story is everything is different now.
Yeah.
And
It
she's
was
in
before
the,
we started
Wow.
school.
the
I'll talk to you
rural-
soon, Carol. Bye.
Oh, bye.
Thank you, Carol. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's
Lovely
awesome.
to be with you. Thanks, Marilyn, for all your teachings. So, Marianne,
Yes.
did you ever find a way to invite your family into a cosmic Christmas?
You know, I haven't had the courage for that.
It's such an important conversation. Marianne raised it last year. It's like, so, how do you get your family or your friends to join you in something like this? And it's very hard. And I was thinking about it all year. And I was thinking it's okay to give myself permission to do it just for me or just for my household or those with whom I share it. That's okay too. But
Yeah. Yeah, I've found this card inscription that you can put a photograph to. Be the joy you wish to see in the world.
Beautiful.
I'm taking it as my challenge right now. And I think about it a lot because there's so many stumbling blocks to joy. But if it's coming from within to without, then at least we're embodying joy and bringing it forward for ourselves. And who knows, we are in a radiant universe. So
yes, that's a great point. We're in a radiant universe. So our thoughts even, have power to change the energy fields and communicate new ideas around us. Don't ask me to explain that, but anyway, they do.
Yeah, well, I like the word courage. It does take courage. And I think if I expect no response, that doesn't mean that nothing's happened. It just means, take a while to make it a ritual and just keep trying.
And Mel was a good teacher. He's already written a Christmas card. And wow, that was not like happy holidays. That was not anything that somebody is going to pick up, read in a nanosecond and put down. And so they're going to read that again to try and get some of the ideas in that. And so that was a powerful little tool that's quite useful.
And it's
sent that card, and then people came, and there happened to be an Earth and stars and planets on your table. They might be ready for it.
Well, it's private, and so you can spend some time thinking about it without having distractions or people waiting for your response. So I think the written is a good way to as an entry point.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I introduce you to my daughter, Ilana? Can you just come say hello?
Sure.
We're decompressing now, so this is my daughter, Ilana. She's 33.
Hi there.
This is Ilana.
Hi again.
Hello.
Nice
So
to meet you.
And so you get to live in the same city as your mom now.
Yes.
Yeah. Same house right now, actually.
For a little bit.
Cool.
Oh, much time together. Wonderful. I'm the best mom ever, and I'm the luckiest to have her. Truly.
True.
Okay, well,
she's only here 2.5 days every week. So
well, she worked so hard on this. You should actually bring her a glass of wine or a cup of tea or something, and while she's because she's going to soak in the tub tomorrow.
Oh,
yes, I am. I'm going to think about the great waters, the biosphere and the aquasphere, and I'm going to contemplate the planets and I'm going to think about change by popping all the bubbles in my bubble bath.
Oh, and also maybe like maybe life, like that grows through grapes.
Yes. Transformation.
And the life cycle of the grape.
Yeah.
What a metaphor.
What a metaphor.
Beautiful.
You tell Jesus
Alrighty.
about it. Yeah. Okay. Well, like,
I know. I see
now the
Paul.
only thing is, Carol,
Hello,
somebody,
Hi. I have a head, but that doesn't matter.
oh,
There he is.
Hi, there's the head. Hi.
He doesn't bend very well. He's not too bendy
Very
these
stiff
days.
guy, but
Oh, blessings all.
well, I need Carol to do, Sil, you texted me. I didn't go up to check about the recording. So now I need, oh, look at this, the grapes. Look how fast that happened.
Miracle.
Carol, I can do some other time, but you know, you're all the same right now. Can you do the Advent ritual again? Right now, and then I'll splice it onto your tape, your videotape. I missed it at the beginning because somebody said, are you recording this? And I go, oh. And so I went up and I put it on. Usually it's on automatic, but it wasn't today. So, okay. I can do everything if you we can start with the Advent ritual.
Okay.
I'm
sure.
sorry to make you do that. You've done all this work and you're ready to go down, but we do want to share everything. What does it say it's recording? Pause.